Our trainers are locked in for first match of the day. We're going to see that Diggersby on screen, leading right into that Unova Stunfisk. This is a great lead for Dreflames.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful lead for Dreflames. He also has the Azumarill as a potential option here, but comes straight into the Azumarill, or into the Dusknoir with the Azumarill. Azumarill also falling a bit out of meta, but Dreflames bringing back the Diggersby and the Azumarill core. Very strong core, and this situation pretty good too. Shadow Punch is stabbed, but from the non-shadow, it's not going to hit nearly as hard here. And Dreflames go straight away for the play rough. I'm very curious about this play, and we get a shield actually too, because I wonder if it's one of those situations where double Ice Beam is enough rather than throwing a play rough and then an Ice Beam later. But that shield from dapperdiscs really puts him far ahead now.
Yeah, dapperdiscs is definitely going to fight for switch here as best he can. I wouldn't be surprised if we see 2 shields come up so that he can win this matchup and get that Unova Stunfisk off of that Diggersby. He definitely needs to flip switch here.
Oh, and it's going to be a charge attack priority. Dusknoir is going to throw the move first, and Dreflames is going to let it go. I like this play because if he shielded there, he pressed the Ice Beam. It's not enough to KO the Dusknoir from his health range. I'm actually not even sure if it's enough if he threw the play up. But in comes the Shadow Scizor. It's getting to moves pretty quickly, but the Dusknoir is going to throw a Shadow Punch first. Going to throw up a shield. These Astonishers really chunking the health bar of the Scizor, and now the Empoleon's thrown in.
Wow, Dapper's actually going to give up switch here and not allow that full farm down and go to his Empoleon. Let's see if he's going to call this bait.
I like the Night Slash. Oh, and he gets baited with Night Slash. Is there a boost? No boost.
No
but
boost.
In comes another Night Slash. And this is a really tough position for dapperdiscs because he not only still has the Diggersby to worry about with the Unova Stunfisk, his Empoleon is low on health as well. Trying to build the double moves before throwing it. You need to try to grab at least one shield. Oh wait, Dreflames actually shields here.
Yeah. He actually gets the shield, so he is doubled up. Will Dreflames stay in and take this Hydro Cannon on his Scizor? He does. All right, so Empoleon will pace and land a Hydro Cannon on this Diggersby because it will get to the next one in just 5 Metal Claws.
Now, there's a chance that dapperdiscs might be able to even catch this Fire Punch. You know Dreflames wants to throw it right away, but no, Dreflames does throw it in this very moment here. Being one quick attack ahead helped him there, because I was a little worried he was going to be charge attack party, but he did throw a quick attack earlier when the Dusknoir came in, so didn't really get punished for that shield on the Scizor, and in comes the Dusknoir. You want to try to get something there, but swapping over, the timing was a little bit weird there because he wasn't at the Fire Punch. You see dapperdiscs maybe a little frustrated in the situation here he's in, but Dreflames playing really on point here. Super effective, Scorching Sand's going to come through. No debuff, but really no debuff needed.
Yeah, potentially if he can land a couple Mud Bombs here, he might be able to put the Diggersby into range of a Dynamic Punch. The question is, will Dreflames overfarm enough to be able to throw a move into that Dusknoir? Dusknoir did not leave with the Dynamic Punch. I believe it only is at a Shadow Punch right now, which would be double resisted by the Diggersby, so not a threat at all.
Yeah, I think if he knows the counts there too, he can just go through double Scorching Sand. Even if you catch a Scorching Sand on the Dusknoir, you're in a good position. He's just a little shy of the double, but the Fire Punch should be enough here. You see dapperdiscs already acknowledging good games there as Dreflames going to clutch up game number 1 against dapperdiscs.
Yeah, what an exciting match. All right, so dapperdiscs couldn't quite clutch it there. I think he had to give up switch advantage. He fought for it and then gave it up again, but he didn't want to allow that huge farm down with the Scizor because then he couldn't really eat that energy anywhere. I think dapperdiscs got to kind of go into the think tank and really lock in here. See what he's gonna do. We are locked in for our second battle. Let's see, we've got Empoleon into Diggersby. This is an uncomfortable matchup, a little bit on both sides, just because we have super effective damage from the Hydro Cannons onto the Diggersby, also super effective damage from the Scorching Sands onto the Empoleon.
Yeah, and this is a tough position for Dreflames to be in because he has to Charizard in the back. And yes, Charizard can bait with the Air Cutter, but if you don't get the bait off or you don't land a Blast Burn, that's a really tough matchup here. I've seen the quick swap in Dusknoir into the Diggersby. This is not the best match for Dusknoir either. Oh, and now comes Azumarill, a kind of a late swap there, but maybe just trying to use up the Azumarill as a sponge, right, for all this damage, and then come back in with that Diggersby, which, double Scorch Sand loaded, that's going to be a huge threat to the Empoleon later.
Yeah, that Diggersby energy is going to go everywhere here. Interesting that he did swap so late, but I agree. I think he's just using this Azumarill to sponge all this energy so that he doesn't have to shield. And he's probably going to look to save shields for that Shadow Charizard because it is so frail.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, dapperdiscs is running ABA water as well, so Charizard doesn't have a lot of positive matchups, but Shadow Charizard still hits pretty hard here. The Switch Timers are completely misaligned though, and now dapperdiscs can get a huge entry advantage against the Azumarill. Do you throw a move? Looks like Dreflames is going to throw a move here to try to realign the timers a bit, but that's so much energy now going over the side of the opponent. However, this play rough might put it close to Fire Punch range as Dreflames going for the Fire Punch. Oh, it's actually a Drill Peck being thrown.
Yeah, he did swap. I believe that looked like charge attack priority, actually, because he swapped in, and then dapperdiscs waited to throw the move to see what came in, but he did interesting throw the other move and not the Hydro Cannon.
Yeah, and great no shield from dapperdiscs because he knows that Dreflames has almost back-to-back Scorching Sand at 100 energy, so it would kind of be a tough shield to even use, but Dreflames trying to go for the bait, doesn't get it, has another Fire Punch ready here. He is now down a shield though, which is a little bit tougher because this Gastrodon could really go to town against the back line of Dreflames, but you could get an Ember down potentially here and get a lot of energy for the Gastrodon. No, the Gastrodon, the Switch Timer's up. You can see he's trying to pivot over here.
Right over that Gastrodon. Yep, the Charizard's actually on Dragon Breath, which is interesting. Most Charizards run Ember, but this is going to provide a little bit more fast move pressure into this Gastrodon, so it's not as comfortable of a matchup here. And he's just going to look to go straight Air Cutter here and potentially get a boost. We do see the boost. That is actually huge. Those Dragon Breaths are going to start to eat away at this Gastrodon a little bit more now.
Shadow Charizard though is super frail. You even have to shield the neutral Body Slam over the Water Pulse. Water Pulse not even needed, but the real question is, can you get enough damage here to finish things off with the Azumarill? Maybe even go for a catch them. That wasn't charge attack priority, so there's a chance that Dreflames can go for the catch. It's super tricky though, and dapperdiscs going to let the Air Cutter go through. Here comes the swap. Do we get a catch? No, but the Switch Timers aren't up yet. You have to throw the Body Slam into the Azumarill.
Yeah, those bubbles are adding up too much on that Gastrodon. He could not go for the farm down there. That would have been a simul KO. He's forced to throw the Body Slam. He undercharges it. Comes back in with Dusk Noir for the snipe on the Astonish. Can he get to the Shadow Punch? He can. There are no shields left on Dreflame's side. Yeah. This will connect and it will KO this Charizard, and that will leave us at a tied 1-1 series.
What a close series between these two trainers too. I thought it was really disastrous for dapperdiscs when he couldn't swap back over to Dusknoir and almost got bubbled down, had to throw the Body Slam, but because Dragon Breath pretty much got a rework, less damage oriented, more energy generation oriented, you can't Dragon Breath down the Dusknoir from that health range anymore.
It looks like we are locked in for a game 3 here. Let's see what our leads are. And we have Empoleon into Diggersby.
Oh man, okay, the backlines are slightly different. Actually very favored for Dreflames in the back. If you get that Shadow Scissor on the Wigglytuff, it is lights out for that Wigglytuff. But the Hydro Cannon's gonna come through. And we saw Dreflames knowing that the Hydro Cannon's not enough to KO. You need to throw 2 of them into the Diggersby. There might be a catch potential. We haven't seen any catch attempts yet so far in this game. You can see, oh wait, trying to catch something on the Dusknoir, but not going to be quite it here. This Shadow Scissor, oh wait, this is like a repeat of last game, except both players swapped out their 3rd Pokemon.
Yeah, absolutely. So a very similar play to last game. dapperdiscs goes for the catch potentially on the Dusknoir, doesn't get it. Dreflames overfarms a ton and then brings in his Azumarill to soak all of this Shadow Punch damage. It'll be interesting to see if either of them plays for alignment here. I doubt we see that because Dreflames again brought that Shadow Scissor, which is so squishy and really wants to hold those shields. So I don't think he ever shields his Azumarill here to play for alignment that way.
Yeah, I like that play from Dreflames because he's already committed to not shielding up this Azumarill, and he knows that he's not going to have time to get to 2 Ice Beams. So rather, going for the play rough in case dapperdiscs goes for a similar play as last time, bringing in the Empoleon. He wants to do as much damage to Dusknoir as possible. Going to let this go. I think we're going to see a Bullet Punch down just like that first game because the Diggersby is already almost maxed out energy, and you can't quick attack this thing down either. Oh, and goes down without getting the Shadow Punch through. That is absolutely brutal for dapperdiscs. He has to come in the Empoleon now, but there's a loaded Diggersby in the back for the Wigglytuff.
Yeah, this energy lead on the Scizor is actually huge in this matchup. All right, so Dre baited the first time. He does get the bait again. And will we see a boost? No boost. Okay, so Dapper's still in this game. Empoleon's Hydro Cannon will knock out from here. Dre does have to shield this up, otherwise it would threaten the knockout on the Scizor here.
Yeah, do you ever... Oh, here comes a combo play. A Scorching Sand comes through. You have to shield this if you're dapperdiscs because there's just no play for that Wigglytuff against the Scizor. What do you do here is the real question. Does he go go for another one here. Oh, and catches it on the Wiggles-Up. Great catch. Left with the Hydro Cannon as well. But the real question is, how do you finish these Pokemon off? You could potentially throw a Swift, do a decent chunk of damage to a Scizor, but I don't think it's going to be enough to knock out.
Yeah, I think he's got to go for the full Charm down here and just hope that he can get to enough Swifts to stall that switch timer and get back out to his Empoleon when that Scizor comes back in. Unfortunately, that switch timer is almost up for Dreflames. I think, oh, actually Zizby got KO'd, so the Scizor will come in and farm all the way down. Oh. Will he shield this Swift though? This Swift will do a lot of damage here. Even though it is resisted, it is a stab Swift. He kind of has to let that go because Dapper actually has a move loaded on his Empoleon.
Is this Trailblaze enough is a real question. He throws one more Bullet Punch to try to get a little bit of chip damage, but I don't think this is going to be enough. Let's see here. It is neutral, and it doesn't KO, and in comes the Hydro Cannon. This is going to be just a straight up shield KO in this situation. If he's at 2 HP, I think it's actually going to be a simultaneous knockout. But it was a shield KO, and dapperdiscs takes the victory here in game number 3.
You could not have a closer game. 1 HP and a dream.